joining me right now to give us the inside scoop on all that you can see and do and experience from American Dream. He's the Chief Creative Officer. Please welcome Ken Downing. Ken, thank you so much for joining us.
Olivier, thank you for having me. What a joy to be not really face-to-face, but in this new world where we're all living digitally. It's nice to do this with you.
We are, but we're adapting accordingly right now, and we have an opportunity to share some of the wonderful things that will happen for all our athletes and their families and the tens of thousands of people that will be joining us. And speaking of that, Ken, there are going to be thousands and thousands of people from the transplant community that will join us next year right here in New Jersey. And you've got to give us the scoop on what everyone can see and do at American Dream.
Absolutely. You know, it's exciting not only for American Dream, but for New Jersey. This is the first time that New Jersey's actually hosted the games in, I think, almost 30 years. So it's nice to have it back in New Jersey. It's nice to have you all on the East Coast. You know, American Dream, it's unlike any experience that I think that a guest has really been able to even imagine. We're a 3.3 million square foot property. Many people want to refer to us as a shopping mall. We really don't like the M word. We're really an experience center. And it's why the Transplant Games are so perfect for being part of the center and the experiences that we bring to our community. I really see us as being a neighborhood. We're the size of some small towns. So we're neighborhoods within neighborhoods. The organization actually will be 17,000 team members that keep American Dream going when we're returning back after our pandemic that we're living through right now on the East Coast. But unlike most shopping centers or even entertainment centers, we're a very eclectic mix of what you'll be able to see. And we're excited that we're going to be able to host not only the athletes from the Transplant Games, but their families and the caregivers and everyone who's involved with this great organization. We're an interesting mix of entertainment with the world's largest indoor wave pool in an indoor water park, which is actually DreamWorks themed, which makes it super fun, not only for kids, but everyone who's young at heart. A Nickelodeon theme park, which has some of the largest and most over-the-top and award-winning, not only roller coasters, but rides for everybody to enjoy. But we have luxury retail from Saks Fifth Avenue, actually the only Saks Fifth Avenue in New Jersey, 8,000 square foot, two-story Hermes, and fun places like Zara and H&M and Aritzia, and international attractions, which are super fun, like an H Mart, which is a Korean grocery store. So you can dine, you can shop, and you can ice skate the afternoon away. We even have the only indoor ski slope in North America. So, and it's actually real snow. You know, I'm often asked, is it synthetic snow? No. Is it a snow carpet? No, it's actually snow. We blow snow every evening. So there's fresh powder for you to actually enjoy the slopes, and the kids can enjoy the bunny hill as well. So there's really not much you can't find at American Dream. You can come and have the most casual afternoon. You can enjoy our indoor garden. We actually have an inside garden that's the size of some city parks in New York City. So there's things that you can enjoy one-on-one with your best friend, or you can bring your family or your extended family and really make a day of
it. There's so much going on, Ken, and on top of hosting the thousands and thousands that will be getting the opportunity to enjoy American Dream, you also host a plethora of sponsors and workshops and special events that will be part of the TGA. How do you do that in your space versus, say, a convention center?
Well, you know, it's interesting about American Dream. It was really envisioned for the future. And we see the future not only being shopping, not only being dining and a fun place to enjoy. The future is about community. And the property was always envisioned to be a community within itself. And something I learned many years ago when I joined Neiman Marcus, where I had come from, Herbert Marcus, the founder of the company, had said, if you're going to be in the community, you need to be part of the community. And that community spirit is something that we believe in a very big way at American Dream. The idea of inclusivity, where we're able to invite people not only locally, but people from around the United States, but also globally onto the property. And the sense of diversity that really kind of highlights what American Dream is. So to have the ability and to have the space to host the transplant games is something we're very proud of. You know, when you look at facilities, if you will, from the past, they're often not with the ability to have space spreading out far and wide. And we're a property that's actually designed where we can host many events, be them concerts, fashion shows, or sporting events that give back to the community, as we will be doing with the games. And I think it's important that people realize every time you come to American Dream, you can experience something different. It's not a stagnant idea. It's an idea that's very fluid. Weekly, monthly, things are constantly changing. So when we're welcoming all of the sponsors, when we're welcoming all of the families, the caregivers, and the athletes themselves, they become part of what American Dream is. They become part of our community. They're part of our neighborhood. And that's what American Dream really is. Isn't that what the American Dream should be? Being able to allow yourself to experience your dreams, your desires, and make your own dreams come true, and help make dreams come true for other people.
I would agree. And you know, all these people that will be joining us to get to come here in New Jersey, where what food is a really big thing here in Jersey. You know, everybody likes to kind of show off a little bit about how they make the greatest pizza or they make the greatest meal in this. And can you tell us a little bit about how people can enjoy the food at American Dream that will really show off part of Jersey's culture?
Well, and I have to tell you, Olivier, it's not only just the amazing pizzas and kind of the regional food that New Jersey and the East Coast is known for. I have international cuisine from all corners of the world. And the great thing, much like the shopping that's super diverse, the dining experience are crazy diverse as well. You can be casual, grab and go. There are super healthy things that I know the athletes are going to be most interested in, local dining and fine dining as well. And unlike the traditional idea that there's a food hall or that there's a food court, we actually have dining throughout the entire property. So you can enjoy Coca-Cola Eats, where there's a lot of grab and go and fun things to do, or you can go into our Munchies food hall, which was actually by the Vice Group out of Brooklyn. You know, many times you'll go into a food center and it's curated by one chef. And we actually love the idea where we can celebrate chefs that are regional, we can celebrate chefs that are national, and we can also bring in chefs internationally, and also give the ability for kind of new emerging talent to be on the property. We have test kitchens where you'll actually be able to see chefs preparing food, giving us their advice on how they like to bring interesting regional cuisine together, and also just how to entertain. So it's much more than just a great place to dine or sip a lovely cocktail or something that's super healthy. It's really an entire, again, experience.
Definitely looking forward to that. I do have a question though. So you pointed out that American Dream is 3.3 million square feet. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So 3.3 million square feet of space, probably as big as some towns here in New Jersey.
Easily, yes.
So how, when I go in there with all the shops and all the food and all the activities and the skiing and the wave pools and I mean the plethora of things you have going on, how do I find my way around all of this and not feel like I'm a needle in a haystack and don't know where to go or how to get around?
It's actually a really fantastic question. And you know, because we're a community, because we really are a city within a city, there are 6 glorious atriums that are actually designed into the property. And many of them are skylit, or they have these soaring, super cinematic ceilings that were designed for the idea of great awe when you arrive onto the property. Certainly we have wayfinding, which makes yourself being able to traverse through the property in a super easy way. But also the atriums really define the spaces as they're almost landmarks within a city, where we have the indoor garden, we have a beautiful court that's all mid-century furniture with an exciting tree in the middle of it. But through the wayfinding, and certainly on the American Dream app, you'll be able to find your way through the property with great ease. And of course, we have ambassadors everywhere. We believe that the service to our guests and to our customers is equally as important to the wonderful variety of things that we're bringing to them. So there's always a smiling face. There's always someone who's more than excited to help you, show you where you are, let you know where you're going to be headed, and help you find your way there. So our ambassadors are very important to the property. We really love the idea that we can be very human of scale at the same time that we're very grand of scale. And I think that human touch, I think that how we welcome guests, how we speak to guests in a very family friendly, but also neighborhood community way is what brings people to American Dream. So no worries, we will help get you where you need to get if you find yourself turned around anywhere on the property.
Good, I feel a little more secure now after hearing that. Ken, you just told us about how I can get around and feel comfortable and find my way through 3.3 million square feet of gloriousness that is going to be American Dream. Can you just tell me a little bit about something I heard of? Oreo Cafe? Does that tell you anything?
Well, actually, I'm very familiar with the Oreo Cafe. You know,
I want to know about that.
Because there's the unexpected around every corner at American Dream, which is what makes it so much fun, because it's such a seek and find mission. Everyone thinks they know something about American Dream, but you really don't know the American Dream until you arrive and experience the American Dream. And one piece of our dream is the world's largest candy department store. It's fun, it's sugar, and that's the candy store name. And it's now 2 floors, but the 3rd floor tops It's Sugar with even more sweet fun with the Oreo Cafe. So it will be open, and anything Oreo, everything Oreo, Oreos. If you're an Oreo fan, you're gonna lose your mind. But the Oreo Cafe will be topping It's Sugar. Just if you didn't have enough sweet on the 1st floor and the 2nd floor, by the time you get to the 3rd floor, you'll be like sugar crazed.
I can't wait. I'm a huge Oreo.
Do you have a sweet tooth?
I binge on sweets. I don't necessarily have them all the time, but I'm a big fan. Let's put it that way. And
yeah, I have a tendency to be a little more savory, but once I get sugar, then I want it all at once, and then I kind of like come down from my sugar moment, and then I move back onto my savory. But there's a lot of super sweet fun things. And the fun thing at It's Sugar, it's not just candies that you know, candy art, candy that is, that's themed, and it's an experience all in of itself. Welcoming you at the entrance of It's Sugar is a 2-story tall Statue of Liberty. I mentioned the Statue of Liberty because, she's certainly the beacon of welcoming, not only in the New York Harbor, but in New Jersey as well. She's something that we in New Jersey share with Manhattan, and she's made out of Jelly Bellies. Now, I have many times, I see kids wanting to climb up the side of her apparatus where she's held high above the store. I know they think that she's a tasty treat, but she's actually decorative. But we have lots of Jelly Bellies on the inside of It's Sugar. But yes, she's a great Instagram photo op for kids of any age.
So you have a Statue of Liberty that's made of Jelly Belly jelly beans.
Jelly Bellies.
How big is the Statue of Liberty?
She's about 2 stories tall.
Whoa. How many jelly beans does it take?
You walk under her to get to the main floor of It's Sugar, but she extends all the way up to the 3rd floor of where the Oreo Cafe is. She's quite impressive. She's quite impressive.
Ken, how many jelly beans does it take to make a 2-story tall statue?
I actually wish I knew the answer to that. I could make it up and tell you some ridiculous number, but when you think about the size of a Jelly Belly and how many it would truly take to cover the entire Statue of Liberty, it's It's a little crazy.
Yeah, it's
But yes,
mind-boggling.
you've stumped the panel. That I cannot answer, but it's a lot. Let's just say it's a lot of Jelly Bellies.
So moving away from the sweets, can you tell me a little bit about the aquarium that people will get to experience at American Dream?
You know, it's an amazing underwater experience when you see our Sea Life Aquarium. And what I'm most passionate about with our Sea Life Aquarium is that there's an entire area that's devoted to the indigenous sea life and underwater life in the New Jersey area. Not to mention we have tropical fish and sharks and all sorts of things that live beneath the water. It's super immersive, where you literally feel like you are underwater and you're living with these dynamic creatures. But I also think it's great that there's a learning element. I mean, certainly I think that the idea of the aquarium and life underwater is certainly magical and mystical, but I like when there's an opportunity where you can learn. And there's a great element of education and being able to be educated on the regional water life that are going to be surrounding you. You know, American Dream actually sits amongst the Meadowlands. They're in New Jersey, which actually has a lot of interesting wildlife and bird life and fish life as well. So it really kind of brings our entire location together when you come into the Sea Life Aquarium. So it's pretty spectacular. You enter through our Memphis court, and there in front of you it's literally like you're being submerged into an entirely new world. Really fun experience. And not only just for kids, but anyone who's really kind of taken with the mysteries underwater, you're going to love your afternoon there.
It definitely seems like it's a family-friendly destination, like you said, not just for locals, but for those around the country that will get to experience something very unique, and from around the world that get to come in and experience American Dream, along with all the culture that you've injected into it that really represents Jersey. And like you said, you know, the big city just 13 miles away. So there's a lot to see and a lot to do.
What's amazing, Olivia, is that people always think, oh, how long does it take to get there? Well, we're literally 22 minutes from the city. And when you think about how much time you can spend in a car or in a Lyft or other shared transportation, you can go 3 city blocks in Manhattan and be there for 22 minutes, where you can get out of the city 22 minutes away, and it's an entirely new world. Now, while you're enjoying the DreamWorks water park and potentially our VIP cabanas, you can see Manhattan across the river. So there are views of Manhattan throughout the entire property. So you know New York is still there, but you don't have to worry about it because you're having a great time while you're in New Jersey with all the great things that American Dream has to offer.
Just another added destination to a hub that can really represent a lot of the culture that exists not only locally but nationally.
And you know what's great for families is that you can spend the day as a family, or you can bring your kids. We actually have daycare, nanny, au pair, call it as you will, and highly vetted individuals who can hang with your kids while they're in the water park, or hang with them while they're in the theme park with Nickelodeon, and have the ability to enjoy their afternoon. And mom and dad can have, you know, kind of a date afternoon of themselves, be it dining or shopping or whatever they want to do. So you may enjoy the property together as a family, or you can enjoy the property separately, and you know your kids are well taken care of, and you can do things that you want to do also. You know, and it's not only just the shopping and the dining. There will be music series, there will be art shows, we will have dancing performances. There's always something new and unexpected that's going to be happening in American Dream. That's why you want to come back often, because you'll never know what crazy, over the top, audacious thing that we are going to do at American Dream, because we love over the top. We love the unexpected entertainment that just pops up in the middle of a court. We enjoy that kind of surprise element that will keep people coming back, and knowing that American Dream is really curated for their pleasure and their enjoyment. when we have the transplant games, there are so much for guests to see and experience as well, because as you know, not only do we have the games that will be taking place in parts of the property, but there's going to be award ceremonies, recognition ceremonies, and various things that the public can enjoy. And I'm so excited that we'll be able to share that with people that don't know a lot about the transplant games. It's going to be an opportunity for the community to learn more about the games, learn more about the great work that the transplant games do and how they can participate as well.
Right from the get-go, American Dream was right on board and supporting not just the cause, but the mission itself. So there's a great deal of thanks that has to go towards American Dream, and we're so excited about that. And I'm just kind of curious, is there something in particular that maybe you yourself are looking forward to, or you're excited to experience or have others experience next year? Well, next year.
Yeah, I have to say, one of my favorite parts of the property is our garden, our indoor garden. And it's a very special place because it is truly like a city park. There are wonderful pathways where you can actually meander through the plantings and the trees. There's a beautiful pond and fountain in the middle of it. And I think in the crazy, ever-changing world that we live in, it's this lovely respite in the middle of this 3.3 million square foot property where you can enjoy a book, you can enjoy getting work done on your iPhone or on a laptop with just a little peace and quiet. And when you're with your kids, the pathways that meander through the garden, there are pathways for adults and families. And then I've designed just little pathways that are for children, where they can experience and find maybe a gnome that's hiding behind a tree. There's something super magical about it, and it's really my favorite place. I think I'm in the property right now. I mean, certainly the water park is amazing and unlike anything you've ever seen, but I like the quiet, beautiful green of the park. And it's really a nod to New Jersey, the Garden State. And so it's important to me that we have a lot of indigenous trees and underground plantings. And because it's really a green space, it will transform itself as the seasons transform. And so every time you return, you'll see the garden transforming itself as the seasons outside are transforming themselves.
I know that American Dream is massive. It's part of a family, including West Edmonton Mall in Canada. There's a Mall of America.
Mall of America.
And I know that those two in particular have unique ways of getting around the property because it's so large. Is there anything that American Dream has to offer? Maybe like you can give us a little sneak peek of how one would get around such a massive property without having to get super tired?
Yeah, well, the good thing about walking is it's very healthy and it's very good for you. But yes, we have small wheeled vehicles that will help you get you from one location to another. But I really encourage people to enjoy the stroll and see the property at more of the pace that a lovely walk will allow you, as opposed to zipping by in wheeled vehicles. There's so much to see, and it's such an unusually, truly different place to experience. You don't want to miss the little nuances that you will pass along the way. So yes, if you need a wheeled vehicle, they're there, but I encourage you to stroll and really enjoy the property. We actually have a concierge service who will gather all of your purchases and things that you've found along your journey for you, so you don't have to carry them, which I think is such a great service. And then you realize you're on the other end of the property. We will bring your packages and we will bring your car to where you are, so you don't have to revisit the journey you took to get to that end of the property. So we're, again, the idea of customer service and really making people feel welcome and knowing that we're taking care of their every need is very important to us. And I think that so much of that comes from not only being a family-owned and operated business, because families very important to us because family is very important to them. And for all of us that work for American Dream, with American Dream, and all of us who are dream makers, we are family. And we're part of the ownership of family because that's how you're welcomed. And that's how we like people to feel when they're on the property. You're part of our family while you're with us. And we want you to feel like that when you arrive. And we want you to feel that even more when you leave. So you'll return and see us again.
Well, I love hearing what you just said because, you know, the thousands and thousands of athletes that will join us next year here in New Jersey for the Transplant Games, most of the time, most of the athletes bring their families along with them to make it a family vacation. So there is definitely a lot to see and do and experience at American Dream that has been an amazing partner with the Transplant Games. We can't thank you enough. And there was one other major undertaking that American Dream had to make happen. And that was actually planning for the games this year, but now they're moved till next year.
I think it's even a more Herculean project to retool and move them forward. But I think that now that there's an extra year, they're going to be better than they ever were before because we will be able to cross every T and dot every I. We're a property that we like to think of ourselves as being super nimble, and we like to be able to react to something immediately and swiftly. And the ability to rearrange and to reconfigure and re-envision the Transplant Games on the property, it was easy for us to do because that's the type of way that we all work. And sad that people are going to have to wait a little bit longer for the experience, but happy to know that the experience they're going to be receiving is really going to be superlative. And I think that be you an athlete that will be participating, if you're a family member that is there to support an athlete, if you're just an enthusiast of the Transplant Games or a care worker who's part of the process, people are going to have a really great time. And knowing that they've had to wait so long, we're going to make it even more spectacular than it would have been.
Couldn't think of a better partner for everyone to come and be experience what you have to offer. Ken, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us and to share with us what American Dream has to offer, and for being a partner from the get-go, a partner that without hesitation saw that this was not just a really great opportunity for American Dream, but it was a really important mission that American Dream has joined on for the Transplant Games and for the mission to bring those families together, the donors and everything.
We could not be more pleased to be part of the Transplant Games and working with you, Olivier, and all the great team members that bring the Transplant Games to life. Just know the Transplant Games are going to be more superlative, more over the top, and more exciting than they've ever been. And New Jersey and American Dream is so excited to welcome you all back.